Bro, there's a clean version of this. Why don't y'all play this on the main?
Nah, DJ's trying to work hard.
Yeah.
Hit the button. Yo, wait. So wait. Right now, are we about to do topics or are we doing this album?
His album up.
Yeah, it's right here. We can do it after. It's all good. What up? Welcome to episode 12 of the Reke and Reem podcast.
Fuck 12.
That too. What up? Welcome back. As always, to our growing fan base, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. For real.
Yeah.
Because as we talked about earlier, we're just a couple of regular guys trying to make it in this world.
No, facts. The fact that other people watch this is amazing. Like, I thought it'd usually just be me. And I'm okay with that because I enjoy watching myself.
Hit him with the DJ horns. We also got we got a couple listeners on the just a straight audio on the podcast.
Shout out to y'all that don't care. Y'all like what my voice sounds like. I do too.
Anchor.
Shout out to you.
What else we on? Stitcher.
Wherever.
We out here.
You can catch us. You can find me in the streets.
Everywhere major.
My mattress ain't full yet, but that's why I shouldn't be out.
My mattress is full of foam.
Don't worry. I'm going to be good. You see what I did there? Shout out to Push. We were just talking about that. Push has to have an album coming soon. He has to. It's about time. It's not even about time because he gave us didn't he give us one last year?
No.
Oh,
Daytona's way older than that.
Oh shit.
But Push's birthday
is
is late May. I think it's the 25th. I could be conflating that with one of my family members' birthdays, but I'm pretty sure it's the 25th. And remember a month ago he was talking about his whole album's gonna be done by Ye and Pharrell.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was in his story. I got excited.
Yeah. That's
I've been listening to Hell Hath No Fury. No, sorry. Lord Willin'.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy rotation recently.
Yeah, I was rapping. I'm good.
Touche.
Hey man, nah, you can't. That's
Players,
like one of those
we
albums.
ain't the same. I'm into cane and guns. Yo,
heavy.
How you start an album that way?
Heavy, because we've been there.
I'm just saying, but they came in the game. The first bars we heard from them on their album was "Players, we ain't the same. I'm into cane and guns."
Because like I said, that's how they came in the game.
Fish on the Chapar make the facelift numb.
This was regular. These were regular activities to them. We
Facts.
were blown away. Our suburban minds.
I'm amazing, son. You niggas wonder where my grace is from. Yo,
goodness gracious.
Shout out to you got some chocolate on the keyboard.
That's not me.
Nah, this is though. Anyways, yeah, man, there's been a lot going on this week.
A lot.
The one of the heavy conversations that I've been having last couple of days. Actually, one of my guys, shout out to Rob. We don't talk that often.
Roberto.
But he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, you heard about what happened?" Or you said, "Y'all got to talk about the Joe Budden podcast." I was like, well, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, man.
And then so he told me what happened, and he sent me this clip when Joe goes on this rant, and which is good for. But I guess
First of all, shout out to the Joe Budden rants.
Yeah.
Shout out to Joe Budden rants because those got me through some tough times last year.
Yeah. Just none of you niggas.
But I love you though. Just crazy.
And what was the other one? Where he's talking about he burnt the bridge? I wish I could remember. We needed that one.
I think he was talking about M.
Nah, he was talking about Spotify.
Oh, yeah. I remember that because they was talking about they got him watches.
Yeah. But yeah, he was just going down these guys because he fired Rory and Mal.
Oh, shit.
But he fired them, and what he was saying was basically they were acting like they own part of it. They didn't. They were highly paid talent. They acted like it. And then when they asked for equity, he said no, and they got in their feelings and were basically had a strike. And he was like, bye.
And that, my friends, is the business these days.
Yeah, that's the synopsis. So, dang. what me and Rob were talking about first, and then me and Chili later, was that like they kept trying to tell me why Joe was being fucked up. Okay.
Go on.
I've been in commerce since I was in first grade.
Easy.
So you already know where I stood. Just even if only for the sake of argument, but it was more than that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, we realized that Chili and also Rob, but Chili was arguing that Joe didn't view them as real, as his real friends. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done that. And then counter to that, my stance was really that they had already demonstrated to Joe that he wasn't their friend, and he just carried that forward. And what made me say that was when they got one of the Spotify deals, Joe was saying, where they asked Joe, what were we going to get paid? He's like, I don't know. I've never done this before. I don't know what the numbers are. I'm working it out. And they were like, nah. We need a number. Yeah. And he's like, yo, I don't know what's, nah. We need a number. We want this. He's like, I don't know about that. So they agreed on a number, made a contract. At that point, you've told me you don't trust me taking care of you or me shepherding this thing for our mutual benefit. So you want to lock in your bread.
Yeah.
That's called an employee.
That is an employee.
Okay. Skip to the end. They're like, yo, we want to audit. But then he was kind of throwing shade, like they were asking for the accounting, but they really wanted to audit, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
So hits him with the accounting package. And Joe said he got mad at himself when he did the accounting because he realized he had been way overpaying them according to the agreement that they forced early.
Crazy.
So
I might have been a little too happy.
I mean, it happens, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you are trying to look out for your folks. But you've already demonstrated you're an employee. Okay.
Yeah. Once you start with the money conversation, it's strictly business, like you said. That
I would say, I know what you're saying. I'm gonna clarify just for the sake of understanding. It's not necessarily starting the money conversation, but forcing someone to lock in a salary for you.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like once you start getting into like, I'ma need this.
Yeah.
Then now it's not about us doing a thing. Now it's like mercenary work. Now I'm paying you for your services. I'm not paying you for this relationship that we have that puts this thing together. I'm paying you for what you do.
Facts.
And that's all I want from you is what you do.
And when you have a salary, that mitigates or it limits your downside risk in that you're putting all this time in and it flops so you don't get anything for your time.
Yeah.
So, but in business, if you force a contract that limits your downside, then by definition, you've limited your exposure to the upside.
Yeah.
So like the pod is bringing in more money, so you're getting paid more, but you don't get equity. You'll get more money, but not what's relative to no.
Because you've stated what's important to you.
Or at least demonstrated it, yeah.
Yeah. No, you said it. Like you said, I need this.
Yeah.
You spoke it. I need, no matter what the fuck happens, I need this. That's because essentially what you're saying, that's the conversation Joe is trying to have. It's like, this shit could fail or this shit could blow up. So right. I don't want to guarantee you nothing either way.
Exactly.
I'm trying to look out for both of us.
And they're like, nah, we want the
And
money.
they're like, I got to cover my ass. So it's like, all right, you cover your ass and I'm going to see where this shit goes. Two different mentalities. Two completely different mentalities. One person's trying to build, one person's trying to get paid.
Right.
Nothing wrong with either or. It's just
know. It's a mindset. and Chili and I were talking about that because he was like, well, you've been able to monetize so many things, and like that's just not my mode. And like, well, first of all, I've told you could, so you can't. But like, I have to do it. If I'm not out here selling something or making something, like I'll go crazy, right?
Yeah.
So there's those two different mindsets, but then also like, even with the salary, you could back up. As an employee, your job is to come to work and add more value to whatever you're contributing to.
Yeah.
So just because a thing grew doesn't mean you're necessarily entitled to a piece of the actual thing. More money, yes. But not necessarily a piece of what you are being paid to contribute to. That's your job.
That's your fucking job.
Right.
Facts. If you have a position, play your position.
So then also, if you're a more industrious kind of person, then you would lock in your salary, but then also get in the trenches. Because showing up to work isn't being in the trenches.
It's not.
The trenches is the shit that happens after you punch out.
And before.
Right.
Yeah.
The pre and post work time is the trenches. So just showing up to work for 7 years, that's not being in the trenches. That's not it.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not at all.
And so if you are collecting your check for showing up and being your on-air talent,
Yeah.
that's it. Were you editing? No. Were you behind the camera? No. Did you put up any bread? No. Did you find any sponsors? No. Are the guests that you brought on anyone other than your personal contact? No. So what else are you contributing besides your voice that is being enhanced because you're sitting next to me? So all I have to say with Chili, I was like, look, if I'm in that position, I press you for bread. You paid me. We run the numbers. You're actually paying me more than what my contract obliges. And you've enhanced my stature in my industry.
Yeah.
That I'm still a salaried employee in.
Yeah.
Which makes me more valuable. All I can say is thank you.
Facts.
And then we can have, and then they said that he asked for equity, and Joe said no. It's like, you knew what it was before. Why are you mad now?
You made clear, like I said, you made clear what your focus was.
And then
here's
the kicker.
Growth.
Joe said no to equity, but y'all have access to all of the footage. Oh, again, caveat. This is what we got from Joe's rant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so
one side.
We'll see what everybody else says.
We'll see.
But what job have you ever worked where you're allowed full access to the IP to generate your own income stream?
Not many.
None. The contract I signed at my job says everything I create there, they own, period.
Crazy. But makes sense because you're an employee. You're not a founder. You're not an investor.
In some places, Reach, for like coders and stuff, they say anything that you create while you're employed at this company is ours. Never mind whether or not you're on the clock. So you go home and make a project at home, that's ours. Like, and some people have contracts like that.
I believe it.
Which is crazy. So it's like,
fully believe it.
Being someone industrious and understanding what it takes, as you do, to actually build something and all that goes into it. Like, you sitting there or being an on-air talent is not a business.
It's not.
There's so much more to having I had this conversation with my brother,
a position.
who he has his own like investment thing going on, and he was like, I thought, as I did with my bags, that if I have a dope product and I do a good job, whatever, managing folks' money, that people are just gonna show up and give me money because I do a good job.
Mm-hmm.
No, just like with the bags, when people see them interact with them, yeah, they're interested, they want to buy it, but
yeah.
Just making a dope product by itself is not a business. I gotta market. I gotta learn material. There's so much more stuff. I gotta pay photographers, all this kind of stuff. It's more than just showing up, punching the clock, and bouncing. So
business and hobbies is two completely different things.
Facts. So no, you don't get anything else.
It's kind of like what we were talking about before we was on air, knowing your position, and that's a big part of why there's so many disputes and issues like this in businesses and when people start stuff, because niggas don't know their position, because either lines are blurred or they're just that naive of themselves and what's going on around them. And it's like, that's the first thing. You got to know your position, know your role, know where you stand. That means knowing what you do good and knowing what you do that don't do nothing at all. And you gotta balance them shits out, or have your team help you. Yeah, that's a conversation that's an honest conversation. Once again, something we was talking about off the pod. These niggas don't want to have that hard conversation first that makes every conversation easier. Every conversation after that is just what comes off the top of your brain with no hesitation. When you get the hesitant thoughts out, then there's no need. And that works in all, like, especially business. If you got an idea and you hesitant to get that shit out, you got to say it to see what type of thought processes you're working with. See, oh, that's trash. Oh, we might be able to work that. Like, you got to do shit like that.
Facts. And so you may or may not ask me to edit this part out, but one thing I did share with Chili was that one of the reasons why I refused to do the clips was to avoid this type of situation. Because I didn't want to be in a position where I felt like I was doing everything.
Yeah.
And
understood.
then because then it goes and it's like,
it's
there's
yours.
nothing to talk about. Right.
Yeah. There's no, it'll just be the Reem pod.
Yeah.
It will be the Reem pod.
And I didn't, and that's not how I move. And so like,
Reek.
it was with Reke.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Actually, Joe said that too. When they got the first Spotify deal, they were like, no, only you're going on the billboards. No, this is the Joe Budden podcast. Like, fuck all that other noise. And then when he went back and told them, they got mad like it was him saying that. Like, they don't understand. Like, if you don't own it, you don't really have a say.
That's to my point. Not understanding positions. Not understanding
stay
like,
in your lane.
Even the dude, Joe, he not even the highest. He got to go talk to somebody.
Right.
So it's like, unless you own it, you got to know that you were playing a position.
Right. And he said, yeah, when people call to talk to the Joe Budden podcast about business, they don't call you guys. They call
Joe
me.
Budden.
If you answer the phone, they say, get the fuck out of here. Where's
They
Joe?
call Joe Budden.
So it's his. And the flip side, though, like, I think I do believe in entrepreneurship and capitalism, you know what I'm saying, in terms of creating value, yada, yada. The flip side is the kind of person I am.
Mm-hmm.
And Chili made the point that it's kind of both of their faults. I wouldn't allow it to get to that point, meaning that he was saying that Joe allowed them to feel comfortable enough that they could talk to him any kind of way. Like, that's on Joe. And as we've talked about outside of the podcast, like I feel like I provide folks too much comfort sometimes, and it makes conversations difficult. On the flip side, when they first went to Joe and said, yo, what's up with equity? And he said, no, you should have known what it was. When he said, yo, let me get a piece of YouTube money, and he said, no, you should have known what it was. So at that point, if it was an issue, then bounce. But no, people are saying, oh, people get money and things change. It sounds to me like no one changed except for these guys once the money showed up. Joe Ben said no. So now, because there's $100 million on the line, now you want to talk about equity? No.
What Push say? They say money change you. That's how we know money ain't you.
Hey. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What Push say?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Look, when the money starts showing up and you start getting a little funny, you ain't money.
Yeah. That's how we know money ain't you. I've been bet. Yo.
Come on
Shout
now.
out to Push.
Come on now. But
yeah, so like, I totally understand Joe's position. And straight up, I'm not selling any of my business. That's the conversation ender. So there's no, and I was telling Chili, there are no numbers that could justify, that they could present to justify their having equity. And my example that I gave him to really drive the point home was, if there's anyone who has contributed numbers to an organization that would justify an ownership stake, it would be LeBron fucking James. You know what they told him? Fuck off. And you know what he did? He went to Los Angeles. The Cavs were like a several $100 million franchise before he got there. Before he left, even the first time probably, but definitely the second time, they were a $1 billion franchise. If
Easily.
anybody on this planet could make the case that their employment justified an ownership stake in the organization, is LeBron James, and they told his ass no.
Yeah. And to your point, in that case, and that's the only reason, that's because of all of the behind the scenes work that Bron does that brings attention and all that shit. Yeah, he's the only one. But at the end of the day, he's an employee.
Yeah. And
He
like,
has his own
somebody
shit.
cuts a check for him.
Yeah.
And that's why he's out here building his own stuff. And then
Exactly.
the last piece, that's what I kind of alluded to, is like, yeah, I am very pro entrepreneurship, but I'm also like, I feel like I'm different because I'm always gonna look out. I always look out for folks who look out for me. And like,
Absolutely.
even Rob, when Rob brought it up, he was like, yo, you're one of the best people I know. And I'm like, I wanted to say something. I was just like, thanks, because he ain't had to say that. But point is, like, when we did the photo shoots and stuff,
Yeah.
Kate did that on the strength. So I am forever indebted to her, right?
Mhm.
Now, if she had given me a fee, I would have paid her fee.
And then that's where it's
And that would have been it.
Yeah.
However, because I know how significant her contribution was, whenever I sell a bag, I send her some bread. I don't have to do that.
It's just like you were a part of the groundwork. You're a part of the foundation.
Yeah, like the shit wouldn't exist without her.
You have to take care of the foundation or the building falls.
And so and the kind of the mind bender there is that like because she didn't ask for anything, I feel obligated to look out because I wouldn't be in the position I'm in without her input. But at the same note, if she was like, "Yo, here's an invoice," I would have paid it, no questions asked.
Yeah, and understandable.
And there would have been no more money. Or rather, that may not be true, but I would have been significantly less inclined to just
it would have been a second thought.
Be off the commission. Yeah,
it would have been a second thought.
And that's just how I move.
It's not a fact.
So like
I feel you. That's how you're supposed. I feel like that's how you're supposed to move as a person. Is look out for those that are you. You look out for the people that are trying to help you get where you're trying to go, and vice versa.
For sure.
Like I've said this before on the pod. We all in this together, man. Sometimes it ain't about you.
Right.
Sometimes it's about the thing that is greater. It's always about the thing that's greater, but sometimes you have to step outside yourself to help it be greater.
Yeah. Awareness. Like it's
absolutely.
Just and to that same point, like let's say tomorrow Pyre Moss hits my phone or Fenty hits my phone. It's like, yo, we want to do a partnership. Word? You know who like the first 3 people I'm calling are?
Yeah. I already know.
Kate.
Easy.
Kia.
Mm-hmm.
And your stinking ass. Like
it's just yeah.
That's just what it is. Like
I'll be lit.
Like I really don't see any other way any other way to go about it, but that's just how I'm built.
Nah, look. Yes, the other day I was doing a job and I usually do my jobs all by myself because 1, I want to keep the bread, and 2, most of like I don't like asking people to do hard labor shit.
Yeah.
Especially if they have to split monies. Like it's just like if you're gonna be out here putting out that hard labor, you will want to keep the amount of money. But other day I had to move some shit that I knew I couldn't lift, so I had to call my man, knowing he was gonna help me. Came through, helped me, took less. I gave him half of the shit. It's like didn't even think about it, and he was like, "Yo, you gave me half." It's like, bro, you did half the work. Like I gave you what you earned. Like it's not me. It's not about. Yes, and when I say I'm a lookout, I'm gonna be fair. I think that's what looking out gets mixed up in. Is like I'm looking out to make it fair.
I would have given like a third, but I feel you.
Understandable, but that was some heavy shit.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, it's like a one-off. I totally get it.
Like it's one of those things where it's like, fuck it. Like I asked, he was like, "Oh shit, I was about to do some shit tonight. I was gonna make like a part of this," and it was just like.
Right, whatever. Like you looked out, you helped me. Yeah,
fuck, but
for
here, you can still go do that shit. But you can take this, chill for the night if you want to. It is what it is. But
yeah, facts. I mean, like that's
just in you, bro. Like that's not. You can be taught that, but that shit is in you.
And I think that's that's missing. Like that's. I'm trying not to go there, but I feel like that's why we don't have like a broader sense of community because we don't do that.
It's because this idea of dog eat dog. Like,
niggas
love Scarface.
It is dog eat dog, but wolves run in packs, fam.
Yeah, and people forget that dogs came from wolves. Dogs are the designer wolves. No, dogs are the Payless wolves. I'll put it like that. Dogs are Payless wolves because look, they domesticated. You gotta feed them. You gotta care for them. You gotta take them somewhere to shit. Wolves, they make their own house and dens. Animals. Yeah, they got politics. They just figure it out. Do wolves not have politics?
I'm sure they do.
They do. Cause it's like, yo, we're one and the same. Why wouldn't I help you?
Right.
If I go against you, that's one less of me. What, like, if you think about it like that, then it's a lot harder to cause issues with people that look like you.
Right.
A lot harder.
Well, yeah.
Or not cause issues, but have issues.
All skin folk ain't kin folk.
All skin folk ain't kin folk.
The other
and all kin folk.
other relevant example though, I'm reading this Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder by 50.
Mm-hmm.
Great book. Talking about him and Sha Money, right?
Yeah.
So everything
Shout out to Sha Money.
Everything we heard from
It's
50.
a great name.
It is. Everything we heard from 50 prior to his album coming out
Yeah.
was basically recorded in Sha Money's basement. Sha Money Excel, right? That's his man.
Yeah.
50 gets his deal. I'm about to come out.
Yep.
Sha Money's like, yo, I want 50 G's. And 50's like, yo, what? For 50 G's for recording in a basement? He's like, yeah, man, whatever. It's like, nah. He's like, yo, how about this? I'm going to give you a point on my album. Nah, I want 50 G's.
Stupid.
And then 50 made the point that, like, okay, that's where you start negotiating. And he said
Yeah.
he probably could have left with 30 G's and a point and a half. He said it got so bad that Sha Money's lawyer was screaming at him, saying, take the fucking point. I'll pay you $20,000 for it right now. He wouldn't do it. And you know what happened? It ruined their relationship. They're not friends anymore. Okay?
Sounds about right.
Do you know how much that point was worth?
1.5.
Yes.
Light.
But just on that album, because
Idiot.
like I was saying, 50 knows who was in the trenches with him. Because he recorded them for free. And so in his mind, he was going to have a piece of everything that G Unit did. But because he pressed him out for the 50 bands early, he said, all right, take it. That's yours. And that's your stake. It's done.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the difference. Yeah, like you said, real friends versus employees. Do you trust me, or do you
And that's
just
the
think this
conversation.
is a good idea?
It's trust. That's all it boils down to is trust. And ultimately, like when I told Chili, if you were starting a business and you needed help and I could do it, in my mind, my yes is contingent upon my willingness to work for free. I wouldn't ask you for anything, but that's also just our relationship. And if I
Facts.
did, I would then decide, is it worth my time? But it's not gonna cause no animosity.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if I'm not willing to do this for you for free, I'm probably not gonna do it. Because I don't want to be in a position that I resent you because you don't I don't feel like
you
you have
don't
my back.
meet up to my potential for you.
Or like if you don't do me a favor, then I'm resentful. I did this. No, I'm gonna do it because I want to do it. That's it.
Facts.
Because I don't owe you
fact.
anything. You don't owe me anything. But we like to contribute to what each other got going on, and it works because we both get to win.
Simple as that.
And it's like, I told him, if we had a conversation, I was like, well, I feel like I was in the trenches and da. Like, he feels like I would have had to get a stake, and I was like, no. If you told me no, I would understand. But also, I'm the kind of person that I'm gonna do more than what you pay me for anyway. So there isn't gonna be a question in your mind of whether or not I deserve more than what the contract says, because whatever the duties are, I'll perform that, because if I see something that can help you win, then I'm gonna fucking do it.
I like to define that as being a working boss.
What do you mean?
It's like it don't matter what you a part of. You treat your position as if you are the owner, and I want to see this go as far as I would take it. It don't matter. It don't matter if I'm here. It don't matter if I'm here after this shit is gone.
Yeah.
I want you to know, or I want it to be seen that I wanted this to, like, I really wanted this to see success.
100%.
Not just because I'm here. Like, I truly believed in it.
Let me tell you
And
why.
that's
it's
where
funny you
the
just brought that up.
I'm not asking for money part comes in, because it's like, bro, I want this to succeed, like
Mhm.
true success. The money will come. That's why I'm not tripping off of it, because I already know it's coming from this work I'm about to put in. But
You
then
wanna know what's
niggas
funny about that?
Yeah, what's funny?
Have you seen that that TikTok going around of that dude with the IKEA background, and it's like, and he's customer service, or he's working retail, and it's like, yo, good luck, you just lost the customer. And he's like, you think I care? You think I own this place? And he just has the ill attitude. So Jay said that to me. Jakeem sent that to me,
Yeah,
and he was like, this is you. And I was like, nah. And people feel like I have a strong attitude. So yes, attitude wise, but like when I worked in places, to your point, I was like, nah, I'm gonna run this as if it's mine. And that's why I was always customer service at 100% mystery shop record, all that stuff. And like people like having me as an employee because I'm gonna take care of shit as if I own it. But then sometimes what happens is once you curry favor that way, everyone else looks at you like you're sucking up. And I feel like you kind of referenced that a little bit in our conversation that we had off air. It's like, oh, are you gonna go tell such and such? Or like, when I used to work at the TV station, folks was like, oh, well, some people bring you breakfast every morning. It's like, that's just because that's the relationship me and this dude have. That don't have shit to do with me trying to get over at work. What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah. It's like, bro, I be fucking up.
Right. And like, that's why I get invited to things.
Yeah, I be fucking up. That's why they know I'm a human being because I fuck up, but then I still do what I need to do.
Yeah. And just like, yeah. Take ownership. And if you're not willing to do that, then find somewhere that you are and you will flourish. But like, apparently there's 87% of people in America hate their jobs.
Because 87% of people in America ain't doing nothing that they care about. 87% of people in America would take that 50,000 over that 1 point. And that's because 87% of people in America are not bosses. They're employees. Ain't nothing wrong with being an employee.
We need those. Everybody can't be a boss.
Everybody can't be a boss.
Everybody can't be a chief.
Everybody can't be a chief. But everybody can get some money. I can tell you that much. Everybody can't rule the world, but everybody can live in it.
Huh. That's a bar.
Simple as that.
Oh, yeah, man. Like,
simple as that.
It's just it's so interesting just hearing where folks land in those types of discussions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also like when you have to endure a position of leadership, take on a position of leadership, you have a different appreciation and understanding for when other people struggle with it. Right? Just like if you're building something, you have a different understanding. So like you can tell by the responses that people have that they never had to be a leader. Never developed their leadership skills. They've never had to build anything, right? They never had been in a position where you're not making no bread unless you make the bread. You like, if you slack off, the money's not coming.
No. Yeah.
And if you haven't experienced that, haven't had to spend 10, 20 bands just to make 100, 150 and like get the ball rolling, you just don't know. Like your mind's not gonna process.
Yeah, if you worried about being in the negatives for the greater positive, then you got it. Yeah,
that's a bar,
niggas. Hey, look, man, it's been some negative days putting money into some shit.
For sure.
It still ain't came to fruition, but it's like it's going to. So I ain't gonna stop because the second you stop is the second you quit. Learned that the hard way. I didn't learn it the hard way. I feel like I learned that early.
Was it David Meltzer said just stay in business. That's it.
Stay in business.
You know,
you don't gotta be the best store.
I want to stop making bags and shit. Man, I've been going through some moments where I'm just like, I don't want to do none of this. But like now, it's starting to get its own little momentum. Yes, I'm glad I stuck it out. And look where we at. This is 2021. I started sewing in 2014. Like that was the first time I used a sewing machine to actually make something. 2014. And here we are.
7 years later, you're making bags. Shit crazy.
Damn, it is 7.
7. Lucky number. 7.
Wow, baby. Yeah.
No, that doesn't cost.
7 years. I feel like once you get to year 10, it's got to be rolling. Otherwise, just turn the key, throw that shit away.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I understand.
After 10?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because it's 10. But it's like at the same time,
I probably still would make stuff.
You just got it. That maybe it's like, all right, maybe it's not the bags. Then maybe it's I'm making shit.
And you already see where that's going. I know I'm not gonna speak on it right now, but you know.
There you go. There you go. See, coming soon. Stay tuned. But yeah, shit. There's been so much that I'm not gonna say I haven't really started a whole bunch of things in the last few years, but I've,
I mean, a whole bunch relative to the world, yeah.
Yeah, but in terms of like how I look at, because I look at people and like that's how I look at niggas in positions that I want to be in. And it's like, yeah, niggas got 10, 12 endeavors going. They own 15 businesses, own 10 houses, 30. Yeah. And it's like, I can't even fathom having that much shit on my plate. Imagine having to worry, like, and of course it's probably not just you, but that level of, I can't even fathom that. So once I was able to accept the fact that I can't fathom that right now, it became a lot easier for me to work harder, because that's not the goal today anymore.
That's interesting. Hold on. So you're saying because you could not presently fathom marshaling 15 businesses, it made you work harder to get in a position to where you could actually imagine marshaling 15 businesses?
So you remember a few pods ago, or like 2 or 3, we was talking.
Is that yes or no?
Yes, but
Okay.
I'm about to back it up with what I was saying. So a few pods ago, I was saying something about how people be wanting the success they see in 10 years for themselves now.
Yeah.
I understand where I'm at now.
Mm.
So the success I want in 10 years, I'm 10 years away. At least 10 years away.
I like that.
You feel what I'm saying? So I can look at that and get excited, but when I get excited now, I'm not thinking about me like buying the car or anything like that, or driving the car. It's me like working.
I do. When I be driving my car, I imagine that I'm in like the next joint.
Oh yeah, of course. No, that's of course. You always thinking about the next vision, but it's like, it's not like I know it's not gonna be here tomorrow. So that like, bro, I can't wait till I get the new joint, and I'm just sitting there fantasizing about that, because that leads into, all right, how I'm gonna pay for it, and then that just goes to this, and then it's like, now I be getting excited, like, yo, I can't wait till I get these 10 customers, these solid 10 customers over 2 weeks, like that shit. And then once I can do like that's, and it all leads up to the car or the house. But it's
or just the life and the freedom. Yeah.
Exactly. Now there's so many more steps in between. Start a business, buy a car, buy a house. Now it's like, all right.
What will help you with that, low key though, is making a plan for what you're gonna do with that money when it comes.
Oh yeah.
And that's like,
I'm already working on that.
It's mind boggling. But we're like, yeah, if I had, if I made $100,000 a year, I'll put it here, put it here, put it here, and like that plan is like. It's like, oh, okay, bet. All right, that means that you respect this energy, so I'm gonna show up for you.
Oh yeah.
The other thing you reminded me of, or go ahead.
I've done that a couple of times, but my list has been kind of bullshit. So over the years, I've had to smarten it up, and it's gotten a lot better. I haven't set on like, I have 4 things that I've decided, but I haven't like
that you're gonna spend the money on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I mean. I mean literally like making a budget like you have for your funds now, but doing the budget based on the level of income that you actually want.
That's what I mean.
So it's like, 50% savings and like 30% investments and whatever, all that stuff.
I mean, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Not what I'm,
gotcha,
not the 4 things like, oh, I'm going to get this 4. I mean, like, I'm going to break shit up in these 4 ways, but I know there's going to be more ways. So still working on that. But it's, hey, so it's all that might sound a lot more drawn out.
No, I totally. I mean,
it's like, oh, I put
the folks who
understand
are gonna understand that. But what you said there, that reminded me of something that Matthew McConaughey has said before, is that people are like, yo, who's your hero? And he's like, me, 7 years in the future.
Fact.
So it's like, okay, this is who I want to be, and like that's who he intends to be in the future is what inspires him today. And it's like,
that's funny, because like whenever I like see someone on, like whenever I have somebody, let's say Tyler the Creator, for example, if I see him performing on stage, like in my music days, or like when I think of me like living that, I see me. Like, I don't see I see me
with that Igor wig.
No. Like me doing my thing with that number of doing it he's doing it, but like my way, like just up there, just chilling, just like dressing how the fuck I want to dress, wearing saying what I want to say,
like a
and
mix between Currency and Andre 3000.
Yeah, and like Tom Segura, like just nasty comedy, just weird white comedy.
But why would you be doing a white comedy?
Cause that shit is funny, bro. You ever watched a white comedian? You ever watch like just like Louis C.K. or something? I know he's canceled because he decided to have a night for himself. But like, you ever watched his comedy or like watched?
I've seen clips.
Ricky Gervais or
he's wild.
He's wild as shit, but he's hilarious. Or have you ever watched what's my man's name? I'm drawing a blank on him.
Tom Green.
George Carlin.
Yeah, I've seen George Carlin.
Funny as fuck. White problems. Some of them I relate to. Some of them I don't relate to them, but like I see them, especially especially working at the school. Some of that shit is funny because it'd be like, I bet y'all be having these problems at home. I can tell how y'all talk to each other.
You're stupid.
Hey man, I'm observant.
Back.
But yeah, that's hilarious. All right, let's shift into something a little bit lighter. Since we got some smiles, we got our bars off. Our bars off. You know what position you in, man. Because all of us are in a position. Even the bosses, we're all in a position.
Everybody answers to somebody.
Everybody answers to somebody. Because ain't nobody out here 100% on their own except for Russ.
Did you try some of this earlier?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
but I'm not really a candy corn, like sweet candy corn person.
Today's just gonna be junk food night.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. All right. So that being said, we have options right now. We can either options.
I feel like we should shift. Let's get this out the way. We're not gonna shift to yet. Let's go ahead get this. Why aren't men allowed to ask for things? In what context?
Anything.
Yeah, anything. Why aren't men allowed to ask for things? Because men ain't allowed to complain, and that's what asking for things is taken from men, is you complaining. What you need something from me for? Go figure it out. And it's like, bro, I asked you for the time.
my boy sent me this screenshot earlier. This dude was talking to a girl. They're texting. He says, "What do you do for work?" She goes, "Don't worry about it. I make plenty of money. I'm not gonna ask for a dime from you." He was just like, "That's not where I was going with this."
I
but
just
okay.
want to know what you do.
You know what? Block. Why are you like this? You just get off my phone,
bro.
At that point, that relationship's over.
It is. Her trauma's funny.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm glad you said that.
Her trauma's funny.
Because I really think that's what it is. I think
that's exactly what it is.
A lot more of us are walking around with issues that need either psychology or psychiatry, sometimes and.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't address it. I feel like I had some experiences relatively recently that really brought that to the fore. And it made me a lot more perceptive of examples in other folks. And I think that a lot of the animosity, I would say that in our community that men and women harbor for each other is really firmly stands ensconced in mental illness.
Absolutely.
Like, we legit need help, and we're afraid to get it.
We are afraid that I don't think people are afraid to get help. I think it's people are afraid
of what other people think about you getting help.
Of people knowing that you needed help.
Right.
Because like nobody likes that crazy stigma. It's been an issue with people for years. The stigma of, he crazy, he got mental, he still see us, he be talking to a psychiatrist, or she be going to see a shrink, and it's just like
true. And to that I'll say this. When you decide to unload all of your worldly grievances onto your best friends, what do you think that is? Therapy. But if you are enduring all those worldly grievances and they are your friend, there's no way they actually have answers that can help you, because chances are they're going through the same shit. So you need to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's therapy. So go talk to someone that can actually help you rectify your shit, or guide you to where you can actually question your own assumptions about what's going on.
It's very rare that we have friends that are actively working through the same trauma as us. We have friends that are experiencing the same trauma, but it's rare that someone is actively working through it himself. So it's like
You're right, and you're so right that when you first started saying that, it threw me off. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then it was like, "Oh, working through." That's a really, 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 really good point.
Yeah, especially in the Black community, like trauma is accepted. Like you're not Black unless you're dealing with some shit.
Not even accepted; it's expected.
It's expected. It's accepted.
Like if you ain't got no trauma, you're not Black. That's what's crazy.
The craziest shit I heard. I was talking to this girl and she was like, "Yeah, like if me and my nigga don't argue, I don't think he like me." And it's like, why is like
nobody wants to argue?
Why is conflict the sign of connection? Like,
yeah, why how did you, what have you endured that made conflict the signifier of affection?
That shit crazy. But at the same time, I've heard dudes say shit like, if she don't try to stab me, she don't love me. And it's like, bro.
And what does that mean?
What movie have you been living in? Like
one that somehow has this track in their mind where that means he's going to make sure he does something to elicit that emotion, right? So when you're looking for something, which is why vision is important, you're just going to subconsciously navigate yourself to making that a reality. So if you believe that people always dump you, they're going to dump you. If you believe real love is getting stabbed, your ass is going to get stabbed. If you believe that real love is sticking by a man when he has a bid for 10, you're going to find a man who's going to find his way to fucking jail.
You are. You always do. Your energy moves faster than your mind. So that thing that you thought, your essence, your spirit is going to grab it. Whether you really realize that you spoke it or not. And that's on everything. So that's why it's important to watch what comes out your mouth, but also that's why it's important to understand, like, you have to, I don't want to say you have to because I ain't no psychologist or nothing, but it's like, bro, just pay attention. Like, questions. Everything starts with a question. Yeah. And I think that's the problem. People, especially people in our community, we're not encouraged to ask questions.
That's true. It also brings back to the question that started this segment.
Why aren't we allowed?
Why aren't men allowed to ask for
things?
It's like
because we're supposed to just have it.
We're expected to just accept everything as it is and not do nothing.
And if
no,
we're expected to accept it as it is, and if it needs to be fixed, fix it.
Except for when what needs to be fixed is the partner. Yeah. Or what needs to be adjusted is the partner. No. Or like if there's an issue that needs resolving that, like, hey, this bothers me. Like, it's just, why can't we compromise? Shut the yo. No, because I'm not accepting this.
No, and that's what I feel like that works kind of for both sides too. Because I feel like people, that's another thing that people do in relationships, and sometimes our community, all communities, is they look for a partner to fix them. Like they'll go look for
that's interesting.
They'll look for someone that's where they want to be, or like on the track or whatever the fuck, and they want them to make themselves, put them on the same track.
Like, you find somebody who's leveling up and then like, yo, just put me on. Like, nah, fam. It takes more than just being in a relationship.
Exactly.
To get on. But
it's like,
I didn't even mean like that. I meant like you got a girl and she has a habit of doing something that really just doesn't jive with like your, values or your character or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring that up, it's not even, the conversation's not allowed. It can't be had because like, who are you to such and such, and why are you so demanding, and why can't we compromise? But let there be something that you do.
You say it.
That causes a problem, and then it's like, nah, fix this now. And it's like, okay, but like
that kind of goes to the point you were saying earlier about girls wanting to be the captains of the ship, but also wanting the responsibilities of the portsman. It's like, I want to tell you everything to do, but when you come at me, why are you yelling at me? I'm the fucking horseman. What you want me to do? Like,
it's more like wanting to be the captain of the ship, but then also wanting to be a passenger in the presidential suite.
There you go. That's a better one. You want to be the captain and you want to be a passenger. Why are you yelling at me? I'm just here for the ride.
Right.
Just you supposed to guide, and it's like, bro.
Yeah, and it's
it is what it is, bro.
Yeah, I just don't.
It's not what it is.
I feel like two people are supposed to come together to work towards a common goal, common objective, common progress.
Yeah, that's what I believe as well.
But I feel like, as I'm probably gonna get the ill sexist remarks. I feel like as men we're built that way, because two things are gonna happen. Men come together as a group. We already know who should be in charge from jump, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna organize ourselves, because if someone really knows what's up, like, they're gonna make some decisions and they'll work, and we're gonna continue that path. If we choose the wrong person to make some decisions, everyone's like, yo, what the fuck's going on? We're gonna find someone else to lead. Yeah. That's the first thing. The second thing is, at some point, somebody is going to try to take the top spot, and that can happen a variety of ways, whether by merit or by violence, one or the other. Or they're going to leave and start their own thing, right? That's just how we work. But we would imagine that when you have a relationship, or say, like, trying to build a substantial or substantive relationship, the dynamic should be similar. Like, one person has, at least part of a vision, and then obviously there's contributions. It's not like, someone's writing freaking legislature and there's, a law and that's it. It's like, nah. But fundamentally, there can only be one captain, I guess, is what I'm really trying to say. Yeah. And everybody else is supposed to support that. Everyone else also contributes to the long-term vision, but, like, there is one person that guides the process.
Yeah. It's
like the co-pilot takes over when the captain is down, injured, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't just unavailable.
I think the thing that mixes that up is titles, because co-pilot and the pilot have the same qualifications. It's just
but not
who's
the same
sitting in what seat that day. You feel me?
Right.
It's a
good point.
It's the
that's
same.
A really good point.
It's the same position. It's just one has co in front of it. It's like no, they're both the pilots. It's just if we say they're both you say they're both co-pilots.
I'll carry you farther. Two pilots, pilot and co-pilot, they're flying to the same destination.
They're flying to the same destination, the same plane, the same controls.
One supports the other, and then if something happens, the other one can take over because they are just as qualified and competent.
Yeah.
But, I should say, and they're also flying to the same destination.
Yeah.
The co-pilot isn't sitting there the whole time trying to fight the pilot. Like, nah, we going this way. We going this way.
Yeah.
What?
I know which way we're going.
You will crash and die.
Let's go there. Let's get there. But to what I was saying about the co-pilot and the pilot's position and how it relates to relationships is like, I think that the pilot can be the man or the woman, depending on the relationship and depending on status or occupation, whatever the fuck is going on. It goes back to what I was saying, is knowing your role, knowing your position, and knowing what you do. Yep. And knowing what the other person does in connection with what you do.
I'll tell you, I've seen some folks that I've looked up to as pilots become co-pilots, and it was very emotional. Like, very, very emotional. But to your point, everybody don't have that. Everybody doesn't. They don't have the same desires. They don't have the same objectives. It's simpler for some than others. For me personally, I'm a captain.
Captain.
But I'm also a captain that likes to develop other captains. And, like, I feel like my track record demonstrates that.
I don't know your track record, but I'm gonna agree with you.
I'm not gonna go into on the show, but
you don't have to. I don't want to know. I'm just saying. So I can't say here nor there. But yeah, I think everybody we're agreeing. I think it's just different wordings. Like, I just feel like that the idea of saying I am the leader. Like we're both leaders. One person has to call a shot. That's why there's pilot and co-pilot. It's like even if we agree, even if we're both gonna call the same shot, somebody just has to say it.
Yeah,
and that's
the person that makes the decision is that person until like something happens. And I don't. There's nothing wrong with being an extremely qualified co-pilot, especially if you have the knowledge, expertise, and experience to make like the appropriate decisions should something happen.
Yeah,
that's like, but somehow it's being second in command is like offensive
because it's given the association that second in command isn't as qualified as first in command.
So whose issue is that?
Second in command's issue if they have an issue with it. But that's what I'm saying. It's like second in command, first in command, you in command. The only way it's gonna go forward is if you're working together.
Facts.
To how we were talking about the wolves running a wolf pack before. There's female wolves and wolves packs. There's male wolves and wolf packs. Like the top dog,
old and young, all that.
Yeah, the top dog usually walks in the back of the pack, and they put the old motherfucker first.
Yep.
Not because.
And the kids in the middle.
Yes, it's all about knowing your position, knowing what you're supposed to do to make this go forward. And the problem is a lot of people are chasing positions that they don't really want. So then when they get in it, they trying to shift it the way that they thought it was going to be, and then they see that it's not going that way, and then it's like, well, what the fuck? That's what it is. It goes to the conversation we had before. A lot of people don't know what to want. A lot of people don't. They're not really going in the direction that they want to. It's like they're telling themselves they are.
Yeah. But
they
want the rights and no responsibility.
They moving in a position of comfortability, not growth. Growth hurts.
And I feel like a captain, pursuing growth is like a duty.
It is.
Like where are you leading people if not to better versions of themselves?
It is absolutely a duty. Being a captain is absolutely a duty. But to your point, the captain is, everybody gets checked. You have to have a check.
Yeah, and it's as for the captain,
it's
if you're fucking up, it's the co-captain first.
Yeah,
and if you don't hear the co-captain, then it's everybody else at once.
Exactly.
And so really, one could argue the co-captain is technically more important because they have to be the buffer and the translator between you and everybody else.
Exactly. And that is the point. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. It's just when you hear co-captain, you like, oh, the nigga sitting to the side. And it's just like, nah, he pressing just as many buttons. He's really, if you really think about it, he's kind of watching over this nigga's shoulder to make sure he don't fuck up.
100%. You make sure the captain is on point, then also like make sure everything is set so the captain can perform at their best, at their optimal. And if you got to be like, no, that's not that button, it's this other one. But then you also are protecting the captain and making them, if nothing else, look better than he is in front of everybody else. Like that's your job.
That's your literal job. That's
like if you're the hype man for your homie at the show, you're gonna be turned because you trying to make it seem like this music is really touching you, even if it's not. You going hard because that's your man's.
While they were playing together,
and if somebody jump on stage, you got to swing first.
This way, while they were playing together, Michael Jordan would have never told the media that Scottie Pippen was lesser than him.
Facts.
He knew he was. Probably told him multiple times in practice. But
I wonder.
I'm not gonna no, I ain't gonna tell you that. Like you maybe not told him multiple times.
I don't think he would have told him, but I think that like they probably
Scottie understood.
I think they both did, right? Because once he left, Scottie still had him, in one game away from whatever. But you remember the I'm trying to think of what
Scottie understood and Michael understood. So Scottie even if
He
he
just
was
wasn't afraid
like,
to
I
go at
can
him.
hit this shot, he's like, Mike can hit it too, though.
Yeah.
So there was no need. Even if he's like, I can guard the best player, he's like, Mike can guard the best player too, though.
But that's my, to your point, rather, when you're talking about awareness, and I guess also to my point about when men group together, we know where we really stack up.
It's because
unless we're delusional, and then that's what causes conflict. If you think you're like, and then if you do think you're better, then you have to prove it. And if you don't, you're crazy. But if you beat somebody out, then it's like, okay, now you're top dog.
I feel like in a weird, it's not a weird way. It's kind of weird to me that I'm realizing this. I feel like men are the only thing that make men like
100%.
look at themselves and go, oh shit, I need to get my shit together. And that's
facts.
That is, I think it's kind of weird because it's like on one side,
is that not how it should be? Because there is certain guidance and support and redirection that you will get from a good woman that cannot come from a man. And I just like, they just perceive things differently, and it's like, it could just be like, you just go ahead and do it, and it's like revelatory.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, steel sharpens steel. Like
steel does sharpen steel.
I go home and, the wife might say, yeah, make sure you hitting the gym, you go to the gym today. Oh man, like, or something like, oh, I love to see you in there working out, like, whatever. But when we get to the court, I still gotta make sure, I still gotta see you at the court.
Yeah.
And if I lose, I gotta go back and put in more work. And so it's two different types of motivation. So like, if you're the top dog at the court, then of course everybody there is trying to knock you off to take their spot. But then when you go back home and your partner knows what you're working towards, that's just a different kind of support. So he's like, oh, I'm about to have this donut. Like, baby, you went 0 for 5 last game. Like, oh, yeah, you're right.
But that's what I'm saying is like that support, I think, makes you go even farther than the support from the men, because that support it's you. Yeah. I believe in you and you being the best you. And once you accept that you're just trying to be the best you and not the best thing, then that's when you can take shit to another level.
Facts.
Like when you at, like, to your example, when you at the court and you see homeboy get niggas with that same cross, you go and start practicing that cross. Rather than,
or pick his pocket.
Yeah, either I'm gonna pick your pocket so this cross don't work on me, or I'm gonna come up with a cross that's even harder. Rather than, I'm gonna just make my game the coldest. Fuck your cross. Like, I don't care. It works cool, but I'm gonna just
doing
be
your
cold.
own thing is what makes you innovative.
Being your own thing is what makes you innovative, and doing your own thing what makes you happy.
I was just about to say that. What I realized just a few months ago, like, if you want to be happy,
do you?
Yes, but do the thing, and successful really is do the thing that only you can do.
Facts.
Because to your point, it's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna copy his cross. Yeah, but if you got like, maybe you got a 6th toe and you can just plant your foot a certain way.
Yeah.
Can't anybody else? You maximize that, then okay. You just have your own thing that nobody can replicate. Like, and you don't. It eliminates the proclivity to compare yourself to somebody else, because you know that you're honing what you have and what you can only do. And the only way to really find out what that is by just trying things throughout life, or even whatever you're working on. Like, obviously a lot of people make music, a lot of people, design things, a lot of people make bags, but like, everybody, as you start doing it, you're gonna find your pocket. And when you exercise your pocket, and when you maximize your pocket, it's impossible to not find joy, because then you're becoming the fullest version of yourself, because ultimately that's what you're putting into anything you create, all of your work.
Yourself into,
like,
and that's when the work levels up.
We should all just focus on the thing that only we can do individually.
Exactly.
It will change. It
translates
everything.
It translates. That's where people get hung up. Is the thing that you do translates. It's not just one activity. It's you. Like, it's you, and you're not just one thing. You are a reflection of. If you want me to get deep, we can get deep. But like, you're right. That's what I can encapsulate that for you. That's what Hazik says. He says the way you do anything
is the way you do everything.
Absolutely.
So you sharpen up your skills. You commit and persist towards developing that one thing that only you can do, and those new habits, and that new mindset and that new approach is going to translate to everything else that you do, because that's just going to be the way that you do things now. And then you end up with the excellence in all parts of life.
Absolute excellence.
On that note, I didn't mean to burp, but we haven't done a pod this long in a minute.
We haven't. So I think it was a good conversation.
It was a magnificent conversation.
Yeah.
We got like 3 little mini episodes we can pull out of this joint.
For sure. But just to give a run off, J. Cole is playing basketball in Africa. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, shout out to him.
3 to 6 games. That shit is gonna be cute. That shit is gonna be lit. It's not gonna be cute. It's gonna be lit. I wonder, what if J. Cole gets in a fight?
I mean, he gonna be fighting the ground and keep dunking like that. All right.
And on that note, it's like, nah. But yeah, shout out to J. Cole. That's really the only other topic that there was to talk about. I mean,
that's a bit much.
Yeah, that's kind of harsh to go back into. But pray for Palestine. Just pray for Palestine. That's really all I got on that. I'm not a historian. I haven't really been keeping up too much. I've been aware of it since my junior year of high school, and I've checked in tabs to see if they were still fighting. Niggas still fighting. So
fighting for centuries, bro.
Fighting for centuries. Pray for Palestine. Just pray for Palestine. That's all I got for that. And I think that's all we got for y'all. So stay easy, stay breezy, stay beautiful.
Cover girl.
Thugger girl.
Sorry, hit the button. Peace.
I wonder if this shit is still recording.